Let's get right into Jewish philosophy and how it fast-tracks your mind to some of the deepest ideas on existence, morality, and purpose. Jewish philosophy spans thousands of years, and it's packed with concepts that shape not just religious thought, but how we understand justice, the nature of life, and what it means to live meaningfully. Imagine having insights that help guide decisions, anchor purpose, and keep values at the center of your actions. That's the kind of clarity Jewish philosophy can bring. Starting over 3,000 years ago in ancient Israel, Jewish thought developed around a unique concept: a single, all-encompassing God. This wasn't a God tied to nature or a specific force. It was a God who was beyond the physical world, who created everything and embodied justice and morality. This belief was transformative. For the first time, people believed in a divine being who cared about human actions and demanded ethical behavior, not just ritual offerings. Jewish thinkers saw this as a divine call to live righteously, to protect the vulnerable, and to pursue justice. It shaped an ethical framework where life wasn't random, it had meaning, and every action mattered. As Jewish thought evolved, it became a foundation for the first major ideas on law and ethics. The Torah, which is more than just a religious text, laid out not only spiritual laws but guidelines for a just society. This was a philosophy that linked spirituality with everyday life, covering everything from treating others with respect to handling disputes fairly. Imagine a system that sees laws not just as rules to follow, but as a way to create a society where everyone can live with dignity. These principles emphasized community and responsibility, forming an early model for social justice that still impacts modern law and ethics today. Now, here's where things get interesting. Around the 1st century, Jewish philosophers like Philo of Alexandria began integrating Greek philosophy with Jewish thought. Philo's work bridged the idea of God with the concept of logos, or divine reason, which he saw as the guiding force of the universe. This was groundbreaking. Philo argued that by understanding reason and living rationally, people were aligning themselves with divine will. Suddenly, philosophy wasn't just abstract thought, it was a way to connect with the divine. This integration brought out the idea that human intellect and wisdom were essential parts of spiritual life. By using reason, humans could understand and live in harmony with divine principles. Fast forward to the Middle Ages, where we meet another giant, Maimonides. Maimonides took Jewish philosophy to new heights by bringing in Aristotle's works. He believed that faith and reason weren't opposites but could work together to bring deeper understanding.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
For Maimonides, the highest form of worship was seeking knowledge. He argued that God gave humans the intellect to understand the world, and that by learning, questioning, and seeking truth, we were fulfilling our purpose. This approach meant that faith wasn't blind, it was an active, intellectual pursuit. Maimonides' ideas reinforced that wisdom, ethics, and rationality were intertwined in spiritual life. So let's stop and think. Imagine a philosophy that encourages you to question, to seek knowledge, and to understand the world as an act of faith. This isn't about rules, it's about cultivating a mind that seeks truth and justice. Jewish philosophy shows that seeking knowledge and using reason are forms of worship, not obstacles to faith. And that perspective shapes a mindset where life becomes a pursuit of purpose, wisdom, and integrity. The next part of the story dives into how these ideas developed further and became a blueprint for personal resilience and ethical strength. As Jewish philosophy continued to evolve, it developed into a powerful guide for resilience, inner strength, and ethical living. Moving into the later Middle Ages and the Renaissance, Jewish thinkers like Rabbi Yehuda Halevi and later Baruch Spinoza took these ideas even further, exploring concepts that still shape modern thought. Halevi emphasized that personal connection with the divine was just as important as intellectual understanding. He believed that living in accordance with divine will wasn't just about laws, it was about cultivating a heart and soul deeply connected to a higher purpose. Imagine a philosophy that's not only about knowledge but also about personal connection and meaning. Halevi's focus on this connection showed that ethics and spirituality weren't just theories but lived experiences. Then came Spinoza, who changed the game entirely. Spinoza viewed God not as a separate being but as the very essence of the universe in everything, everywhere. For him, God and nature were one and the same. This idea was revolutionary because it suggested that every part of existence is divine, and that by understanding the world, you're also understanding God. Spinoza believed that by embracing this, you could live with a kind of clarity and peace, free from the turmoil of desires and fears. He argued that our emotions, when understood rationally, lead us to greater freedom. This approach made Jewish philosophy accessible to a secular audience and laid the groundwork for what would become modern rationalism and ethics. Here's a profound question to consider. What if understanding yourself and the world around you could bring you closer to something divine? For Spinoza, this was a reality where self-understanding and acceptance of nature brought peace. Spinoza's ideas encourage us to live in harmony with reality, to see our place in the universe with humility and wonder. This isn't just philosophical, it's a mindset for navigating life's challenges with resilience and insight. As Jewish philosophy moved into the modern era, figures like Martin Buber introduced concepts of relationship and connection. Buber's I-thou philosophy was all about the idea that divinity is found in our relationships with others. For Buber, every genuine encounter with another person was a chance to experience something sacred. He argued that by treating others with respect, by truly listening and being present, we experience life on a deeper level. This idea transformed Jewish thought by showing that ethical living wasn't just about following rules but about building meaningful connections. Relationships became a path to understanding and experiencing the divine. This evolution in Jewish philosophy, from laws to intellect to personal connection and ethical relationships, offers a model for living that combines wisdom, resilience, and purpose. It's a mindset that adapts, that grows, and that encourages us to be the best versions of ourselves, grounded in knowledge, compassion, and a sense of something greater than ourselves. Next, we'll see how these ideas continue to shape modern thought, making Jewish philosophy a powerful guide for navigating the complexities of today's world. In the modern world, Jewish philosophy has continued to expand, bringing ancient wisdom into conversations about ethics, society, and personal growth. This ongoing evolution shows us that Jewish thought isn't just about tradition, it's about constantly reinterpreting ideas to stay relevant in a changing world. One of the most powerful modern thinkers in this tradition was Emmanuel Levinas, who redefined ethics in a way that deeply impacts how we see ourselves and our responsibility to others. Levinas argued that ethics begins with our relationship to others. For him, seeing the face of another person represents a direct ethical demand and obligation to respond with compassion and respect. Imagine what society would look like if every decision we made was shaped by this sense of responsibility toward others. Levinas's philosophy challenges us to prioritize empathy over individual gain, to see the value of each person, and to make decisions that honor that. In his view, real freedom isn't about pursuing self-interest, it's about serving something greater than ourselves. As we think about how to bring these ideas into our own lives, Levinas gives us a profound shift in mindset. In a world that often emphasizes personal achievement, Levinas reminds us that true fulfillment comes from how we contribute to the well-being of others. His ideas teach us that every choice we make isn't just about us, it's about the impact it has on those around us. This is a philosophy of shared responsibility, where each interaction is a chance to create positive change. In the last century, other thinkers have taken Jewish philosophy into new realms, exploring questions about the self, the nature of belief, and the role of tradition in a modern, globalized world. Figures like Abraham Joshua Heschel brought spirituality and social justice together, emphasizing that religion should lead to action. Heschel famously joined Martin Luther King Jr. in the civil rights movement, stating that when I marched in Selma, my feet were praying. For Heschel, faith wasn't just an internal experience, it was a call to engage with the world, to act against injustice, and to stand up for the dignity of all people. Heschel's approach brings a powerful perspective. Spirituality isn't passive, it's a force that compels us to improve the world. Imagine living with that sense of mission, where your beliefs drive you to make a tangible difference. This is what makes Jewish philosophy so unique. It's a way of thinking that doesn't separate faith from action, ethics from responsibility, or wisdom from real-world impact. It teaches us that philosophy is not just about understanding concepts, but about making choices that reflect our values in every aspect of life. Today, Jewish philosophy continues to offer insights that are deeply relevant, from discussions about the environment to ideas on social responsibility and the nature of identity. Modern thinkers draw from the same principles that guided ancient and medieval Jewish philosophy: principles of justice, empathy, knowledge, and respect for the interconnectedness of all people. These ideas aren't confined to any single belief system, they resonate universally, encouraging us to live thoughtfully, ethically, and with a commitment to the greater good. In understanding the timeline of Jewish philosophy, we're not just learning about history, we're gaining tools to face the challenges of today. These insights help us make decisions with clarity and purpose, build connections that bring out the best in ourselves and others, and approach life with a sense of meaning and resilience. By mastering these ideas, we fast-track our own minds, equipping ourselves with the wisdom and strength to navigate a complex world with integrity and compassion. So as we look forward, the teachings of Jewish philosophy invite us to live intentionally, to pursue truth, and to remember that every action, no matter how small, has the power to make a meaningful impact. It's a philosophy that continues to inspire, to challenge, and to remind us of the depth of our responsibility to ourselves and to each other. This is the timeless power of Jewish philosophy, a guide that not only shapes our minds but enriches our lives in the most profound ways.